Welcome, everyone. I'm Laura DeFranco, the CEO of Brave Healer Productions, where we have a mission to wake the world up to what's possible, one brave word at a time. And here today to help me with that mission are some of the authors of an amazing new book that we have coming out. This one is called We Lead, Building Connection, Community, and Collaboration for Women in Business. I want to say a really big thank you to our lead author, AliceAnne Loftus, before I introduce these women to you today. AliceAnne, you had a really big vision for this project, and I'm so grateful and honored to be here guiding this group of stellar expert authors. This is a topic that really turns me on. This is a book that wouldn't you have loved to have this in the beginning of your business? Like, you would be 10 steps ahead if you had all of these experts guiding you. And I'm just so excited about getting to know your leading lady ambassadors and being in your community. So thank you, AliceAnne, so much. So I have some pretty cool chicks in this Zoom room. Julie Blamphin, inspirational speaker and founder of Stretch Your Spirit, inspires midlife women to feel joyful, stable, and sexy through movement and stillness. Lisa Van Wormer is an Army veteran and the owner of Abrado Analytics, a solutions-focused woman and veteran-owned small business dedicated to infusing creativity and innovation into mission success. And Michelle Briggs is a nurse entrepreneur, always willing and ready to offer holistic options for wellness. Welcome to all of you. Julie, you're going to start the party off today. Tell us about your amazing chapter.
Thank you, Laura. I'm so happy to be here. My chapter is number 2. It is entitled, My Body is My Business, the art and science of yoga to cultivate self-connection, stability, and success. You know, writing this chapter, I knew it was going to be powerful. I knew it was going to be profound, but I've been writing about other women for so long. And so in this chapter, as I'm writing about myself and this pivotal Thursday back in 2013 that totally changed everything, I learned so much about not only myself and where and whom I've come from, and I'll talk more about that in a second, but about how I want to show up in my work for other women. I thought I knew all these years. I've been teaching for over 30 years, and I thought I knew how to guide women, how to connect with themselves. But this chapter really was a game changer, really going deep into this profound challenge that I had on a Thursday back in 2013. It brought more to me than you'll know. So thank you, Laura. And I really am hoping to hear from the readers that it's bringing you just as much profound change as it brought me.
Well, thanks for opening and talking about that process of diving into the writing. I thank all three of you for not just for saying yes to this, but like taking up the challenge I gave you to go vulnerable and give us that personal story. That's not easy. And then you stepped up as the master teachers that you are as well, and you're teaching a strategy for the reader. And I just think these books are such big gifts because of we need all your voices. We need all of your personal stories. And then we definitely need a toolbox, right? We need all of the tools and strategies that we can get in this topic. Julie, so thank you for talking about, that process for you. I'm super grateful and honored to guide that. What do you think in terms of what you're helping your reader understand is the most important thing, if you had to sum it up from maybe your practice section?
The title, again, of my chapter is My Body is My Business. So many of us women, especially these powerhouse, badass entrepreneurs that we are, right? Those of us in this book, those of us reading this book, those of us watching this interview, we are so focused on our careers. And that's a wonderful thing. We're so focused on all the things on the to-do list, all the meetings, all the shit we've got to get done every single day, right? We're checking things off of that list. But are we really going deep? Are we really connecting with our body and bringing it into that same intention as we do our career, our family, our home, and all of the other things that we put so much effort and time and blood, sweat, and tears into? Often we realize that we're not, until the body says, hey, how about me? And so I wanted to go deep into a situation that really changed my life, that was really hard to share. I'm quite private, but sharing made all the difference in the world, because it's allowing other women to share and being able to say, don't forget you, don't forget your body and your mind and your spirit. Bring all of that along the way in your badass career. It's important.
Yes, definitely. With awareness is everything. Y'all are going to be dropping golden nuggets of awareness today. Body awareness is the foundation. It was for me. And so super, super important topic. Julie, thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
Lisa, tell us about your amazing chapter.
Thanks, Laura. So my chapter is called Don't Settle for No, Tearing Through Red Tape with Creative Problem Solving. So I am a government contractor, and I've been in and around the government in some fashion, either as military, contractor, civilian, completely unaffiliated, and back as a contractor. And I think that one of the main things that I am talking about in this particular chapter is that moment where I said, not just I could do this, or I should do this, or this could be something good for me. It was the moment where I'm like, no, I can do it. And like, that was the story that I talk about in this. It's more about me kind of knowing that I can do something, but then having the faith that I could do it in a way that could be helpful and useful and move forward. I think when people are consistently around a topic, they become an expert of it, and they've become the expert of it. It means something different when you try to strike out on your own and make a new path just for you, and really focus on, how am I good at this, and why does that have value outside by myself? And I've always been a writer in some fashion. I was talking to you before the podcast started about starting as a linguist and moving on. And as far as writing goes, I still infuse that every day in my work. And when you're working for the government, it's such a black and white, complete, like, tied around red tape environment. There's not a lot of push or give. There's so many rules. And I've always been the type of person who wants to know the rules, because I want to learn how to bend them or move them or use them, follow them in a way that I think serves everyone, not just me. And I know that can be like a really annoying trait. My husband is consistently annoyed about this trait of mine, but he benefits from it all the time. But I think that just because somebody tells me no doesn't mean that they have the authority, the influence, or they're understanding the bigger picture. And I have spent over 20 years pushing my way around to get to do jobs that I want to do, to influence the way that I want to influence. And that's what I'm trying to get across in this story, is that moment where I decided, yeah, I can do this, and I'm going to do this.
Yeah, I would imagine there is a huge advantage to really knowing all the rules at another level, because then you're going to know the great questions to ask in the places where bending can happen, which is really how the world gets changed, honestly. So this is like big potato stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I think one of the most frustrating things to me is when I hear, well, it's always been done like this. Okay, but why? And why does it have to continue to be done like that? You know, it's
I love that.
2023. Why are we doing things like we did in the 80s? It's crazy.
That also tends to be like the most common form of criticism I heard in the first pieces of my business from very close to me people was like, what are you doing? You're doing it wrong. You're not doing it like it's been done or how it should be done. And I'm like, exactly. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and
love
there's
it.
a nuance to that, right? And I think all of us here, like we understand the nuance and we're not trying to do things differently for the sake of being different. There's thoughtful consideration in what is the end goal? What are we trying to achieve? And using our best understanding to get there.
Yes,
And
there's
yeah.
purpose behind it. That's the power of that.
Mhm.
Yeah. I love that, Lisa. Thank you. Thank you for being here today.
Thanks for
Laura,
having
can I
me.
add to that?
Yeah, go for it.
I love that, Lisa. And it's so apropos for women, especially when there's something going on with the body, right? Where, oh, I'm used to it. I can't tell you how many times I've heard, oh, it's normal, or my doctor told me it's normal, or I've been dealing with this for so long. It's cool. I'm fine. I've got shit to do, right? But instead of maybe looking outside the box or maybe thinking outside the box and considering doing something different to get a different result and to thrive and move forward and progress. So I love that we're sharing these themes in this book to really support these forward-thinking women out there. Like,
Yeah,
get sometimes, get out of your own way.
in all areas, your own personal body being one of them. Yes. All right, Michelle, we want to hear about your amazing chapter. Ready?
Okay, great. Mine is Cannabis Solutions, Creating Curiosity in a Growing Wellness Field. I've been a psychiatric nurse practitioner for a long time. And what inspired me for my business and to talk about this in my story is that I've always been attracted to holistic healing as well. And several years ago, I became an investor in a cannabis farm of all things. And in the state of Maryland, we started with the cannabis medical program. And I was like, that's it. I want to do something that offers folks another modality of treatment, another tool to help them. And because not everybody is into conventional medications or pharmaceutical interventions. And so I really went out on a limb and reduced my own fears, my own stigmas and stereotypes, which my chapter talks about. To that, my training was very conventional. And colleagues were like, you're going to do what? You're going to promote cannabis, marijuana? Really? And so I was like, yeah, I'm going to do that. I am. I'm going to strike up the courage here and go out on a limb. And that's what I've done. And I talk about that in my story. I talk about how cannabis can be a solution for business owners as an alternative holistic health treatment, even for people that are well. So it's been pretty exciting the last 6 years.
I think that's it's perfect that you're talking about this after listening to what Lisa and Julia are saying, because it's a similar theme. Like, I would imagine there might have been a rule or two that you had to break or something you had to bust through in terms of that stigma. What do you think was the biggest challenge? Do you remember a moment?
I think for me, raising a family, and knowing the taboo behind, drugs and kids, and wow, mom's going to be a cannabis entrepreneur. Really it was like, wow, I really have to believe in this medicine as medicine. and stand on that for my family, my friends, the naysayers, the wanderers, the folks that still believe in reefer madness and, Nixon days. And it was like, wow, so it was an evolving moment, and also check in with myself, like, here I am, I'm literally in the middle of a marijuana field, like, here we go. And how to explain and educate to people. I have a passion for teaching, and to teach people not to be afraid of it, and to know that it is a plant medicine, and that we have our own endocannabinoid system. And wow, it created a lot of curiosity in my friends and family, and I've been able to educate them, and so they could make a more informed choice for themselves.
Oh my gosh, education is everything in that realm. I want to see that picture of you in the field. I had a vision of it when you said that.
I'll
I'm like,
send
I gotta
you.
see that. Yeah.
It's a beautiful field out in California called Magic Meadows. It's a farm that we have there, and it's a beautiful place.
I would imagine Magic Meadows. That's the best. All right, so all of you have achieved levels of success that are amazing and impressive. And I want to talk about this for a minute. Lisa, what's a strategy that has helped you the most in terms of your business success specifically?
I think probably what's helped me the most is I am really good at getting into the room. I sit back and I see why people are there, what's the goal, and then I just am really good at trying to find my way in. Because even for my first contract, actually, it's a software and system development contract, and I am not a computer scientist, nor do I do computer science work, whatever that means nowadays. And I said, I can bring value to this contract in a lot of different ways. I'm great at organizing. I've been around the development of these systems for a really long time. I understand the mission set and I understand the end user, but how do I get them to listen to me? And so what I did is I focused on one thing I knew that they lacked, and they did not have a documenter. And it's a requirement for government contracts when you deliver a piece of software that you have user and system administration documentation. And I know that because I've been on those teams for so long. So I said, hey, I can be your documenter, and I should come in, and here's how I should engage and why I should be a team member all the time and not an afterthought. And that's how I got my foot in the door in the first contract. And yeah, I think it's just whatever you need to do that you're, obviously that you're okay with to get in the door. Once you're in the door, then you can change everything. I have very rarely ever had a job that within maybe 4 months of being there, it is the job that I took. And it hasn't since become the job that I want it to be, focusing on the things I'm interested in.
I love it. I wrote that down. Find your way into the room and find the thing that they're lacking. And that just feels so smart to me. That's awesome. What a great networking tip, really. Like, when and also you've done your research, obviously. So there's some due diligence on the front end of something like that. You walk in armed and so I love that tip a lot. Michelle, how about you? What's a business strategy that's helped you the most for your success?
I think for me, I had to really get to know the market. Where I discovered, who's going to want to be open-minded to holistic healing, what kind of clients, what age groups, what people, what group or cohort's going to be more biased than another, have more stigma versus another. And and getting to know the market too, to find out within the healthcare realm, who's going to be open to this type of treatment or tool. So my own colleagues and the area as well. So that was one huge strategy. And the other was to connect with other industry professionals. Obviously, my industry is a specific industry, medical marijuana. It's not federally legal. And I had to find other people that were like-minded and really believed in the plant as a medicine, and could help me navigate some of the things that we've gone through, as far as, finding your own bank account, these kinds of things. And that was huge too. So that's really helped me build my business.
I love that one as well. There used to be a time where I thought success meant I did it all by myself, but oh my gosh, is it so opposite of that? So I love that you're talking about that, and gathering that community around you, those experts, those collaborators, those team members, right, that can take this idea and make it much, much bigger. I love that. It's so important to understand that. All right, Julie, how about you? What's a strategy you've used that you want to share?
Again, I would love to talk about bringing it back to the body and self, the connection between mind, body, and spirit. I didn't realize until 2013, again, that day that I talk about in my chapter, how profound it can be to continue this practice of yoga, if you will, or meditation, or rest, or just a moment to sigh 3 times in the middle of the day. Anything that you can practice during your days to come back to yourself along your journey. Talking about this challenge that I went through in 2013 and still am challenged with today, and then sharing that with my community, with the world through this book, and in my retreats and all of my workshops and every talk that I give as an inspirational speaker. I find that, again, we are moving through what we're moving through: life, career, family, and to keep connecting with self, recognizing who you are, cultivating that inner awareness, not only of your body and what you need along the way, but who you are, where you're from. I had these aha moments during this writing and ever since about who I am and where I've come from. My father, who currently plays more golf than he's writing and speaking, but he was a professional writer and speaker in his career. My mother, who currently is still teaching women in her community, she's spent the last 60 years as a women's wellness advocate, just like me. So, and these are epiphanies that have been coming along the way through this work that I'm doing, that I've been asking for many years other women to do. Hey, connect with yourself, share your story, be vulnerable, do the work. And until I started doing the work, that's when I realized how profound this can be. So that is my most important strategy in my own career and with the women that I work with, whether they're in a career or not, is keep checking in with you along the way. And I love to share tips and tricks on how to do that.
I also love that one. Doing the work is a lifelong journey, and there are so many layers of it. And you did do a lot of work before you came to the point where you realized you needed to do more good work. And it's just, peel a layer off, and then there's another opportunity to have another aha, which is something I do love about the journey. It's if you strive too much for a destination, then you're going to put a box around yourself, All right, I have this question I want to hear more from all of you about. Michelle, let's start with you for this one. So I want to know what the most important thing you want people to know about leadership is. How's that played out in your world?
I think that being self-aware of your fears and kind of transforming them into courageous thoughts and ideas and open-mindedness, and just really being honest with yourself, open and willing with yourself to say, you know, I'm already a leader, and how do I express that? And to always seek, you know, support in any way, whether it's friends, family, your own professional, you know, your own leader, like AliceAnne. She's been a great coach for me to really believe in my leadership and how it can be expressed. And so, yeah, I think that's it in a nutshell for me.
I love that. You know, great leaders create great leaders. And we're all leaders, whether we think so or not, right? We're all models. Especially, I would say we all are models if we chose to run a business and lead a business and be the CEO and the face of our company, right? You got that role whether you really wanted it or not. So it's this awareness that you're talking about. That's it. That you have to be aware of that fact. And then when you are, you're like, all right, who do I want to be today? I think I want to be a badass, you know? I love that, Michelle.
Sure.
Julie, how about you? What's the most important thing you want people to know about leadership?
Again, don't be afraid to be yourself. I mean, it's so cliche, right? Be yourself. Focus on authenticity, be vulnerable. But until you start to do that work, until you really find practices that can help you to tap into that over and over and over, do you realize how profound that can be and how that helps you to be a leader, not only for others, but in your own life? It was really difficult for me to be proud of myself. For many years, I was bullied when I was younger. I was not easily connecting with other women. I didn't trust them. They were who bullied me. So I didn't feel that sense of self, feel that I could lead through authenticity. I always felt like I had this veil that I was hiding behind. But through coaching, again, through support, through trust, and these practices that bring me right back to this moment of awareness, all of these practices, and again, great coaching with AliceAnne and the colleagues such as Michelle and Lisa, being able to then lead with trust and love and authenticity, nothing like it.
I love this idea. I might have to ask you all one more thing after this, but Lisa, I want to hear what you have to say on this first. What's the most important thing you want people to know about leadership? How's that played out in your world?
I think that I always had this idea of what a leader looks like and what a business owner looks like business owner Barbie or something has to have these check marks and success and being a leader. And I think it was once I stopped striving for this thing that I had made up in my head of what that looked like. And I realized that I'm constantly leading all the time. I don't have to be the leader to be leading from within. And that leading from within is great. And when you become the leader, like that over top leader, I think I agree that you have to do it in a way that it shows you got there for being who you are already. Like, you don't have to change who you are, conform to certain things. You have to be honest with yourself and say, I got to this point because of who I am. There's no now that I'm here, I have to act a certain way. Now, the confines that you are working in, there are certain ways that you must act. So you keep all those internal thoughts to yourself and say them in a really great external way that gets your point across without being walked over. So yeah, I mean, just you are probably leading today. Even if it's something you're considering owning a business, you're probably already doing it. And just know that you're there because you're already doing it and you're already good at what you're doing.
It's so important to slow down and celebrate where you've come, how far you've come, and this place that you're at. And I really loved that reminder, Lisa. Thank you. Like, you're already doing it. You got to where you are because you have been a leader. And that actually flows so nicely with what Julie was saying. Actually, all of you talking about, like, get over the fear, be your total self. That is it right there. Like, and of course we make that sound easy, right? And it is some days like impossible. We get so fearful about what other people are going to think about us and say and all these things, but blah, blah, blah. That fear, I think, is boring. You've heard me say that before. Purpose-driven fear is what we're talking about. Oh my goodness. Lisa Van Wormer, Michelle Briggs, Julie Blamphin, thank you so much for what you do in the world and for being here today to share it with everyone. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you, Laura.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
So, listeners, you know, you're hearing some juicy topics today. Maybe something resonated and you're getting the goosebumps about something. Come on down to the show notes. I have all of these powerful women hooked up with their websites there. Please go explore what they're up to. It's a lot and it's awesome. This is so much more than a book. It is a generous community of experts who are ready to guide you on that next step, carry on the conversation, answer a question that you have. And so I'm so grateful to all of you, and honored to bring you all together and you know, get your words out and your very powerful and important work out in the world. And listeners, please come join us for the book launch party. We're going to have all the We Lead authors together to celebrate November 17th. That's going to be 10 a.m. Eastern. The info is below for that. And if you're listening to this after that date, that means the book is already published on Amazon and you can grab your copy and start your journey with all of these amazing authors. Lastly, today, everyone, remember, your words change the world when you're brave enough to share them. So it is time to be brave. See you next time, everyone.